Alright, y'all, we're about to get into a new video. This is me reacting to when you score 83 points in a game and nobody cares. Okay? This is by Jimmy Hot Roller. I was waiting for him to actually post this video, you know, because this man, Bam Adebayo woke up on a random Tuesday and dropped 83 fucking points. That's crazy. Because out of all people, Bam Adebayo beating Kobe's record, and look, I'm not hating. Even though he shot like 46 free throws, that is insane. But hey, about to get into a video. Let's see what this is about, though.
Take a look at the best scoring nights throughout NBA history, and you will see a list of the greatest players to ever play the game. Jordan 69, Steph 62, Lillard 71, Luka's 73, Kobe Bryant's famous 81. It's the most coveted record book in all of basketball, a testament and historical evidence of the greatest nights in NBA history by some of the greatest players in NBA history. Which begs the question, what the hell is Bam Adebayo doing here with a mind-boggling modern NBA record of 83 points? Well, this, my friends, is the result of quite possibly the most egregious case of stat padding the NBA has ever seen. And despite scoring the second most points in a single game in the history of the NBA, Bam's 83-point night will go down as one of the most shocking and controversial games we may ever see.
Nah, literally. My eye too good.
Today's video is sponsored by
Jimmy, you gotta get that money.
Digital pack line to 09 Arena MY. The Heat were up one Wizards in the Miami Heat. With 1 minute and 46 seconds left in the fourth quarter, the Heat were up 146 to 119.
That's crazy.
By all conceivable measures, this game was a blowout. It's over. But with that being the case, why is Drew Smith attempting a full court heave while his team is up nearly 30 points on a piss-poor Wizards team? Well, he's not. He's trying to get the ball to Bam Adebayo, who is being double-teamed 50 feet away from the ball because he has 79 points and absolutely no intention of subbing out of this game. At this point, the only way Bam is going to add to his historic total will be at the free throw line, because Washington is now guarding him with their entire roster. And what started as a normal basketball game has now become a full-blown circus act. But it didn't start this way. In just the first quarter of this game, Bam Adebayo had 31 points, the second most points scored in the first quarter of a game in NBA history. By halftime,
that's crazy. Bam 31 points in the first.
At 43, already a career high, and the second most points scored in the first half of a game in NBA history. Going into the third, the Wizards still had no answer for Bam. His points still flooding in.
Bro, fuck the Wizards, bro. And I'm from PG County, so like they're the most closest team to me. That's the NBA team, but that's sad. How do you let a man score 83 on you? I don't understand. Like, I feel like the Wizards, like they're probably the only team in the NBA where like they have to take them out of classroom to do a test or some shit. Like them sped kids back when we was in school. Like, how do you let these niggas score? How do you let this nigga score 83 points on you? How? When he gets to like 60, 70, you don't think, okay, to like double team this person? And this was probably I was doing earlier, but like, why would you even let him get that much free throws? The man shot like 46 free throws, 43 free throws. Like, how? That's crazy. The Wizards, bro, y'all are cursed forever.
Both naturally in the flow of the game and ethically. By the end of the third, Bam had 62 points, which, you guessed it, is the second most points through 3.
That means how can someone watch this game live? 43 to 40 something free throws? Whew. That's crazy. 40 something free throws. Jesus.
Quarters in NBA history. Before the start of the fourth quarter, Bam's performance was already being celebrated by his teammates and fans. He had broken LeBron's franchise scoring record of 61. He set a new career high, and the Heat were blowing the Wizards out by 20. And it is at this point where Bam and his coaching staff are left with a decision. Stay in the game and build onto an already substantial lead. Leave the floor and sub out as the hero of the night, or stay in the game and potentially chase the league's scoring record. What decision should they make? Well, it just so happens that I covered this exact predicament in my last video, where I asked the question, is it possible to score 100 points in an NBA game?
It's possible.
The final verdict, yes, it is possible.
It's possible. Look, literally his last video, Jimmy Howler in his last video, he was literally talking about, is it possible to score 100 points in a game? Now we know it's literally possible. Like before, you know, when people probably got like 70 something points, we'll say like, oh yeah, he probably could have beat Kobe. He probably could have came up to Kobe. Or like, if you shot this much threes or whatever, you could have got 100. But like, this nigga Bam could have literally had 100. If he just shot more efficient, like if he made like 4 more threes, like a couple more free throws, he literally would have had 100. Like, it's possible. That's just because of this game right here that happened. Very soon, I'm not going to say it's going to happen like next week or something, but very soon, someone's going to get 100 points. I don't know who it is. It could be Wemby. It could be Luka, Shea, someone probably on a random Wednesday, just got off from work, just chilling. And you going to get an ESPN notification and nigga drop 100 points. It's going to happen very soon, bro. Facts.
The only problem? The circumstances required to have such a game are so unlikely that we will probably never see 100 points ever again. Unless a player is willing to infringe on the integrity of the game itself. There have been many games throughout the years that had record-breaking potential, but for a few reasons, most notably the game being a blowout and the potential record breaker respectfully sitting the final quarter, there have been...
I know when he was talking about stat padding and shit like that, I understand that this was crazy stat padding because you literally saw that dude did a 4-court pass when the dude was literally getting double teamed. So that was crazy stat padding, but then you gotta understand, like, if my teammate has that much points, I'm gonna make sure that he, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like just like reasonable stat padding. Like, let's say if I have like 80 points, I'm about to beat literally one of the greatest players of all time record. Bro, I'm gonna stat pad my ass up, bro. I'm gonna try and beat that record, of course. Anyone who in his situation would do that. Like, come on, bro.
Very few instances where a player was able to genuinely chase the record without any negative consequences. How did Bam Adebayo drop the most points in modern NBA history on a random Tuesday night in March?
Random Tuesday, bro. Not during the playoffs, nothing. Not no Kenan event game. Random Tuesday. Damn. How do y'all fouling them that much? Are these even fouls or are they just calling shit? That's not a foul. Some of those weren't even fouls, bro. The rest were on that shit.
And infringing on the integrity of the game. In what could have been a celebrated, memorable, and ethical performance, Bam and the Heat decided to go a different route. With about 9 minutes left in this game, Bam had this incredible and one. A blow-by followed up with this great acrobatic finish at the rim through contact, and an explosion from the fans in the arena. And after hitting the free throw, this would have been the ideal and historically acceptable moment for Bam to check out of this game. It was his 70th point of the night. Miami had the game all but wrapped up. And up to this point, all of his points were ethical, non-GMO, farm-raised buckets. But instead, Bam stayed in the game. And here's how he scored his final 13 points.
When did Jimmy become that funny?
Free throw, free throw, free throw, free throw, miss 3, layup, free throw, miss 3, turnover, miss 3, miss 3, free throw, free throw.
Why would the coach even let him still in the game? God forbid if he got injured, bro. That would be bad coaching.
Free throw, intentional miss free throw, attempting to manufacture more points. Free throw, free throw. Bye-bye Kobe, hello Bam. In what is now being called the most unethical game of basketball the league has ever seen, the Miami Heat spent the final 7 minutes of this game executing every conceivable tactic to manufacture more points for Bam Adebayo. Chucking up unnecessary threes, intentionally fouling the Wizards to get possession, even going as far as intentionally missing a free throw to try to get the ball back to Bam. And as a result, they are quickly discovering why Kobe's modern scoring record stood for so long and why no one can seem to match it despite a number of players getting close. Because, wait, I actually already said this a week ago, let me find the clip real quick. 100 points in a single game is possible, but the circumstances required to have such a game, to justify one player taking that many shots and doing so without infringing on the integrity of the game, is so narrow that we may never see it happen again. Ah, that's right. The fallout for unapologetically chasing out. Yeah. This is truly a definitive and timeless paradox of big performances. Historic nights like this have become less about can a player pull it off and more about do the circumstances require a player to pull it off, in which case the circumstances virtually never do. This performance from Bam is not only proof of that, but it is evidence of what we all have known to be the truth. There are many players around the league right now who could go for 80, 90, maybe even 100 points on the right night. If they set their mind to it, if them and their team game plan for it, if it is their sole focus for 48 minutes, if the Washington Wizards are on their schedule,
Bam played like 40-something minutes.
Something like this would require a player to break the unwritten rules of basketball. And that clearly isn't worth the backlash of possibly pulling it off. It isn't worth it. So what were the fruits of Bam's labor? The second most points in a single game in NBA history, the most free throw attempts in a single game in NBA history, by far the most free throws made in a game in NBA history, and the fifth most three-pointers attempted in a game. Oh, and he also broke the record for the most criticism received by a single player in one game. Now, if we ignore all context and what it took to get there, according to the game score metric, which takes all the good things a player
does. Hey, look, I'm gonna keep it 100, bro. Bam scoring 83 points. Look, Bam, you're my Nigerian brother, bro. I fuck with you. But like, yo, I ain't gonna lie to you. I'm not trying to sound like one of them casuals who just say bullshit to push certain agendas, but bro, that 83 points game was bad for basketball. Like, you gotta understand, like, just certain players that, like, when you hear from them, they gotta, like, imagine just, like, learning about NBA lore, then you find out Bam Adebayo has the second most points in league history. Like, that don't even sound right. Like, let's say if it's Curry, Wemby, you know what I'm saying? Like, just certain names, like, can't have accolades. I'm sorry, but it just, look, maybe I'm just thinking of it like a storyline or some shit. Look, that's what I feel like, bro. Like, bro, if I'm like the basketball gods or some shit, I'm not letting this nigga score 83. 70 points, get the fuck out the game, bro. You got your 70. It's against the Wizards, bro. Like, 83 beating Kobe's record? No. Can't. Because now when you talk about the all-time greats, about who scored the most points, now you got to say Wilt, then Bam Adebayo, then Kobe. I'm not saying Bam Adebayo's not nice. Bam Adebayo's sweet. Like, he's tough. But, bro, he don't got that aura, bro. That doesn't mean he don't got that aura, nigga. I don't give a fuck. Y'all could say, oh yeah, he acting like a casual. I don't give a fuck. I don't care. Kyrie should have scored 80. How about that? Fuck. That's my GOAT, nigga.
Us in the box score minus all the bad things and spits out a number that attempts to reflect the impact a player had on a game. Bam had statistically the 6th best game in NBA history, which is unfortunate that it will not be remembered as such. In my last video, I used this chart to display the greatest scoring nights in NBA history and the pace these players were on to reach their final totals. For example, here's Luka's 73, here's Booker's 70, Lillard's 71, here's Kobe's 81.
I forgot. Devin Booker scored 70 and lost. I'll be mad as shit.
Through 3 quarters, he was tied for the second most points all time going into the 4th. In fact, that and one bucket in the 4th quarter that I mentioned earlier is right here. All of his buckets leading up to this point were non-forced ethical buckets within the flow of the game. Bam Adebayo was playing out of his mind, better than anyone ever has in modern NBA history, even before all of these shameless scoring tactics were deployed. The stat padding that spurred all of this outrage took place here in the final 9 minutes of the game. All of this is now invalid because of this. A week ago,
damn, that means this ball was hooping a flow state. I'm talking about like he getting in the ball, nigga, like he, bro, what? That's tough, bro.
The Warriors used to get close to 100 were outrageous.
I wonder what he was feeling. And his girls watching by sidelines. Oh my god!
7
the
days
that
later,
nigga received,
we're watching
bro.
a center get triple teamed 94 feet out while
insane.
up 25 with no admissible reason for him still being on the court. I now stand corrected. But I don't think these final minute tactics are worth discrediting this entire performance. 83 points is 83 points. Regardless of how you go about getting them, you still have to go out and get them. The irony of this whole thing is that I've seen a lot of comments about how this game was proof for some fans that Wilt Chamberlain actually did score 100 back in 1962 despite there being no video evidence. If Bam can get to 83, Wilt Chamberlain could and definitely did get to 100. Which there's already a laundry list of proof from that game. I don't know why this would be the determining factor. But if Bam's game is being ridiculed and dismissed, even if the criticism is justified, then so should the mythical 100-point scoring record. Because the way that Bam got his points is the exact method Wilt used to get his. Like, literally. Bar for bar. During the final minutes of Heat Wizards, Keyshawn Johnson intentionally missed a free throw in hopes that the Heat would get the rebound to get it back to Bam. This is exactly what the Warriors did for Wilt. The Heat also intentionally fouled while holding an insurmountable lead to get the ball back faster. The Warriors did the same exact thing to get Wilt to 100. If Bam's 83 points is invalid because of these tactics, then for that same reason, so is Wilt's 100.
That's facts.
Not only
I mean, most people say that game is fake anyways, even though it's not, it's facts. But yeah.
biggest scoring nights in NBA history deploy the most gimmicky, shameless tactics to pull it off. This is quite possibly the only way to pull it off. The only difference between Bam's 83 and
I don't think you can just keep scoring like that, bro. Teams are eventually gonna double team you.
Critics online.
Unless literally Jesus is the one that just make you make it. And other than that, bro, you're not getting.
To finally see a coach allow his player to chase a record and have himself a night that most players could only dream of. You want to know how many games I've watched that were spoiled by an early sub? A player being punished for giving too much belt to the opposing team. A 3-point party cut short because they were playing too good. Potential record shut down because it wouldn't be in good taste. If this is what it takes to make up for all the times I had to watch Steve Kerr pull a player from a game on the verge of a league record, then so be it. I am just as surprised as
why
you
did
that I
Steve
will
Kerr
now
do
see
that? They
Bam
hating ass
Adebayo's
niggas.
name above Kobe
MJ
Bryant
stole your
for the
ass.
rest of my days. But to see Bam
No,
have the
that's too harsh, bro.
audacity
My
to
bad,
stay
bro.
in this game, emphatically do what no one else would dare, was just as fun as it was shocking. Which, by the way, every single player, without exception, would choose to stay in the game and chase a record if their coach allowed them to. This just happens to be the rare case where a coach did allow it. How can we blame Bam for doing something every player would do if given the chance? I don't know, maybe instead of putting all the blame on the man who just scored 83 points in an NBA game, we should aim that frustration at the team that allowed it to happen. Throughout this game, Bam attempted 43 shots, which is a lot. But you want to know who shot more shots in a single game? Kobe. And Westbrook, and DeJounte Murray, and Kobe, and
DeJounte Murray scored 44.
Kobe, Chris
God damn,
Webber,
nigga.
Kobe, Brunson, Jordan, and Kobe. What about all those free throws Bam attempted? Those are the symptom of a team desperate to slow a player down, but can't
50
stop them
shots
without
is
fouling.
crazy.
It has been decades since the last time a player chased points to this extent,
Kobe don't
let
give a
alone
fuck.
had a coaching staff that allowed him to do it. But as I previously mentioned, this feels like conclusive proof that the only thing keeping that 100-point record intact is sheer respect for the unwritten rules and the opposing team and the game itself.
Yeah.
If Bam can go for 83, I can only imagine what players like Luka, Shea, Giannis,
That's what I'm
and
trying to
Wemby
say. That's
could
what I'm
go
saying.
for
It's gonna happen
if
soon.
given the opportunity. But now that we're stuck looking at this for the foreseeable future, what are your thoughts on
It don't
this
even
game?
look
Do
right.
you
Like, look at that shit don't even.
feel like Bam's 83 was legitimate? Or did the tactics used at the end of this game damage the legacy of this performance and how
Hey yo, someone on TikTok literally said that Bam scored 83 points. Like y'all still don't think they were in the end times. Y'all better get right with God. That's funny as shit. That's so fucking funny. Cause now we really have to talk about Wilt, Bam, and Kobe.
you'll remember it? I gotta know. So
Yo,
let me know your
NBA
thoughts in the
is-
comments
oh my
below.
gosh.
And as always, until next time.
Also, good video though. Nah, but ain't gonna congrats on Bam scoring 83. You know, because 83 is still 83. Because at the end of the day, he could have missed some free throws and not get 83. So he made them, bro. He made 80. He literally had 83 points. Can't hate on it. I mean, I'm probably hating just a little bit because like I'm just mad that like you know what I'm saying it's not like a thorough NBA player that's on that list because like you know Kobe had Orr, Will had Orr. You know what I'm saying? But like just like Bam on there, like Bam is a good player. But it's just like he don't got aura. You feel me? So I don't know. I don't know, bro. I mean, it was also a good little video, though. Jimmy Howell, he cooked again, like he always does. Catch me on the next video. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitch. Follow all the bios in my... I said follow the bios. Follow the links in my bio. Yeah, I fucked up on that. My bad, bro. You know what I'm saying? I fucked up the little segment. Feel me? But anyways, though. What else? I think I forgot something. Wait, is there... Fuck y'all niggas.